Muri ora kia koutou, e whakarongo mai ki tēnei tūranga, ki ngā whakawete kōrero, e pāna ki te riki roto i te Taitokerau rohe. Anō reira nau mai haere mai, welcome. Would like to welcome everybody here to the only rugby league podcast in the far north, off the back fence. I'd like to welcome you here today onto the couch. Everybody's wants to hear what you have to say, but a little bit about yourself, your time in rugby league, a bit about yourself, and how you got to become chairman in TRL. Over to you, Dave.
David Bristow, chairman of the TRL. About myself, played league when I was 16 with the Moerewa Tigers, and then went over to England for 3 years. And one of the people that was over there was a guy, my best mate was Danny Campbell. Met him over there when he was playing for Wigan. So went over there for 3 years, came back, spent a year we played with Taitokerau for a year, and then played for Northern Districts, and then Northland, and then we went to Aussie, me and my wife and my 3 kids. Reason I went to Aussie was to try and get my young fella start in the league. And we got him hooked up with the Roosters, and he went right through till he was 18 in the grades, and he dislocated his shoulder. And I said to him, you're going to become an apprentice carpenter now, I'm going to put you through apprentice, and he didn't like it. So now he runs his own business in Sydney, and that's what I said to him, what's the best advice I gave you? He said, be an apprentice. So now he runs his own business. So I've got 3 kids. My eldest is Sandy, my young fella's in the middle, David, and then I got another girl in Brisbane, Faith, yeah, and then my wife Avalon. So being involved with league, and even when I went to Aussie, I was involved in with league over there. Looked after the East Māori side for about 8 years with me and Leon Rooker and a few of the whānau over there, and learned to get to know a lot of people over there in the league circle, and it was great over there. We used to, I think my skills of trying to run stuff and all that was when I was in Aussie. I ran a lay-by company for 18 years, and I had over 350 people working for me, and then I had 1,000 clients that I have to use, companies and all that. So negotiating with people and negotiating with clients, and I think that's how I ended up in this position. It's all the negotiating with the people and everything like that. And we were turning over 12 million a year, so the company was happy, I was happy. Come home because my girl had 2 girls, 2 little mokos, so we followed them home. We just packed up ship and come home. And getting involved with how I become the chairman of the TRL goes back a long way, back to Broadwood, on the balcony in Broadwood.
Yeah.
I took a team up there, I was coaching the Tigers at the time, and Hone Howard had something to do with the Broncos, and he said, what about a pre-season game? I said, yeah, I'll come up and play. I think Shorty was the coach then.
I refereed.
I
refereed.
Oh, you refereed. No wonder we lost.
I gave you the winning try.
So Hone was sitting on the balcony, and I walked over and I said, oh, all right, Hone. He goes, yeah, no, good. He says, good league, eh? And I said, yep. And he goes, what do you reckon about it? I said, to be honest with you, Hone, we need our own comp up north. We don't need those fellas down in Whangarei. Because I was involved with Moerewa Tigers, and every time down Whangarei they try to shaft us all the time. When we got to the playoffs or anything like that, they just try to do everything. But they wanted Moerewa down there, but at the same time they wanted all the other teams to be there. They didn't like it when we were beating everyone. So, and Hone is a great thing. He started the TRL. Hone was doing all the paperwork, everything. And my job was on the ground, just going around the clubs and all that. So we had 6 teams when we started, and then we just went from there and kept going, and that's how I ended up. Had a meeting and I got elected chairman, and I'm still in the place now. And to be honest with you, this is my first interview in 10 years. Normally it's Hone or Tari that takes the mic, but this time I'm shaking a little bit, but I'm relaxing, yeah. That's my story this year. Hone's not in there and Tari's not in there, so I'm there with a good lot of people that all they think about is league, and that's why we're going leaps and bounds. That's what it is.
Kia ora.
Kia ora,
Okay,
Dave.
nice. So these are just 6 quick fire questions, so I expect quick fire answers. No, you just be honest, and it's just random questions just to get to know you a bit more, kind of person you are and how you take the tackle. So starting off, like I said, 6 tackles. Here we go, tackle 1. Favourite NRL club?
Broncos.
Yeah!
What about the Warriors?
Favourite food to eat?
Anything.
Anything. Favourite type of music to listen to?
I don't like music. Honestly, I don't like music.
I turn the radio.
My mum come around, I turn just that music just gets to me. I don't, if it is one, it's the old-fashioned ones. Country music. But other than that, I just...
Yeah, quick fire, right? Quick answers. Here we go. Greatest footy player, in your opinion?
Greatest footy player I liked would have been Steve Renouf.
Yeah, beauty. What's the worst footy injury that you've had in your career?
Broke my arm.
Left or right?
Right, still got a steel plate in it.
Is that where their phone book went around that one?
Yeah, the first.
Sorry about that one, yeah. Last one, bro, last tackle. This is a big one. New South Wales or Queensland?
It's not a big one. Queensland.
Yeah, you can stay. You can stay. Nice.
Okay, after that, we're just closing up now.
Can we eat our pies? Yeah. Meat pies and power pies.
Nice.
As chairman of TRL, what are your aspirations for the 2025 season and beyond?
My aspiration is that our 9 teams, hopefully they can all finish the season, and we have a good season with the grand final and all that. That's one of them. The second one is zero tolerance, zero tolerance. In my way, zero tolerance is whanaungatanga and manakitanga. That's what we need to do. Getting ready for the reps games, for the districts, getting a young side together and taking them away to the districts and also the Māoris. That's what I want to try and do. And for beyond that, I'm working at the moment with the district side, New Zealand districts, to try and get us a development officer up here next year and help develop the kids and all that. We need grades. It's been too long for us having not kids running. Sure. So they're coming together and try and help to put the program together for next year. Hope to have one running down in the bay and one running up here in the far north. That's what I like to do. And also, this year we're looking at taking the 13s away to the Māori tournaments, so TRL 13s. So we'll be advertising to try and take a team away.
Awesome.
I take a team away every year to the Māoris. And just promoting our tamariki and teams and all that. And hopefully next year we can look at a ladies comp.
Awesome.
Even if we get about 3 grades running in each division, it's something we've got to show New Zealand Rugby League that we're trying to get things happening and all that. So that's looking at more senior teams. Be good. Yeah. Be good to have the comp split. Yeah. Up Kaitai run and then we run it and then we come together. Yeah. That's what my ambitions are for 25 and 26.
Awesome,
right.
Dave. Just talking about that districts, first time last year. What was the experience for yourself and the team? It
was great. We had a good support team go down in the districts. We had a good coach, Tommy, and then we had a good staff around us and everything. When we left that tournament, New Zealand Rugby League was very impressed with us, with being on the field, off the field. And they also thanked us because we were the only ones down there that cleaned the change room. Oh. Everyone else left it dirty, and we got a letter from them to say thank you very much from Bay of Plenty Rugby League. So that's a good start for us. But the competition, it's different, eh? You go down here and you get players are trying to do different things. It doesn't work because it's not park football. You're taking a step up, and it's very hard. So but it was a good tournament. I think we drew one on the first day against Coastlines. Then we played the Swords, but in the Swords team, there was a lot of them from Auckland, from Akarama and Manukau that helped fill them in. We got beaten by them. And the next day, the Sunday, we played Wellington and we got beaten 12-10. Just somebody made a silly mistake, gave the penalty away, and that was us. Then we were supposed to play Coastlines for 3rd and 4th. They were running out of players, we were running out of players, so we said we tossed the coin koe and the guy said, I said, no, we just finished third equal, so that's better for us. So that was a good tournament. That take people away, get their time away out of the far north and down the bay and just see what football's all about. Yeah. You know, we had some good players down there, some real good players we took down there, and we were really happy with the outcome. So that's
all right. The second question, Mr. Bristow, what was the TRL process for making a decision on allowing whānau-based teams to enter the 2025 TRL comp?
Okay.
What was the process in place?
The process in place. So I have to tell you how it starts. We have 4 people on the executive board. That's Angela, the treasurer, Leanne Tamo, the secretary, myself, and Kayla Mackey as registrar. Then under that, we have all teams. The 9 teams have 1 delegate. So 1 delegate is on our board. So they make all the decisions too. And the executive would just come in over the top and say, oh, well, we vote for this. So then we had a process of saying, if you want to play in the TRL, you got March the 21st to pay half your sub, which was $350. If you didn't pay your subs, you weren't in. So they paid their half subs by the 21st. Then the draw come out after that. Before everyone was ringing up, saying, hey, how's our draw? How's our draw? I said, no point in doing a draw if someone drops out. We're going to do it again. Yep. So you pay your money, and 2 days later, you'll get the draw. So that's what's happened. That's what happened with that. And then on the 24th or 25th, Robbie Johnson rings me from RLM. And he said, oh, we want to come up and play in your tournament. But they only wanted to come up and play the bye team. So they said, we'll just come up and play the bye team. What do you think of that? And I said, yeah, but you can't play in 2 comps. You can't play in Rugby League Northland, which is a championship comp, and ours is the district. He said, oh, we're registered to you as a bit of, you know, so we still can play in your comp. So I said to him, Rob, I'll put it out on our page because we all have an executive page for the delegates and all that. Yeah. I'll put it all out on there and then we'll see what happens after that. So we gave it 2-3 days and then everyone came back to me. They came back with no, majority of them said no, with their comments beside. I'm not going to tell you what the comments are on that, but out of 9 teams, they just said no, we don't want them up here. All right, fair enough. So my job was easy. I just had to ring Rob and tell him, no, bro, they don't want anybody up here, all our delegates. We just want to stay in our own backyard and look after ourselves, you know. At the end of the day, you got to think about Whangarei district. They've gone to the premier grade, all right? We're still in the district division, so why don't we stay there till we get all our things ready and then we'll go there. So, and the other thing was 2 weeks before our conversation, he sent me an email. He said, Dave, this is a proposal, have a look at this. It's a 10-team comp. I said, oh yeah. Then he rang me and we had a yarn. And he said, it's a 10-team comp. I said, 10 teams? He goes, yeah, we got 4 down in Whangarei, send Moeroa down there, that makes 5. And then you have 5 teams up in the north to play. And I said, but we've got 9 teams. What happens to the other 3? He says, oh, it's about time they all break up and make a solid comp up there. And I said, so I'm giving you 6 teams, I'm losing 3, but on your program that you want to have, you've got Rugby League Northland Championship round for 2025. What does TRL get? He goes, oh, we'll give you a home game. It'll be live, you know, the championship round. We'll give you a live game at home to film playing with the team playing and all that. So I look at the picture and I said to him, so took it to the meeting in Kaikwe. I said, here's an email from Robbie Johnson. What do you fellas think of that? They just put their hand up. He said, so what happens to the other 3 teams? I said, well, they're not there. He wants us to all amalgamate together, whether it's up in the north or whatever, mid-north. So they all voted and they said, no, we don't want anything to do with that. So that's how the process came about.
Thanks for clearing that up. I think that was one of the top kind of questions that we've been asked about.
Oh, don't worry, my phone's been going mad all the time from everyone from Whangarei, right till 9 o'clock last night.
I think that's the unique thing about TRL is that it's a whānau-based, club-based decisions being made.
And I think that's what they've got to try and do down here, is trying to get whānau-based teams together.
I think the next question is what are some of your learnings that you have taken from the last 9 seasons of the TRL competition?
Oh, I'm going to be here all night. We're going to be
We've got a few pies here.
I told you about how we started the TRL
Yep.
with Hone and that, you know, but I just got to mention a few people that have come and gone that's helped through the TRL over the years and all that. And it was Hone. Hone is one. Next one is Tare, you know. And the big one is my wife, because she looked after all the registrations and all that. We'll be up about blooming 2, 3 in the morning when the season starts, getting all the registrations, so all the teams can get on the field. Awesome. And the other one was Lindsay Proctor and Ronnie. Ronnie was there from day one and all that too.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what I had to give a push for and all that. So like I said to you before the meeting, how many teams played in the TRL over the 10 years? There was 26 teams that played in the TRL 2010. I can go through them, you know. There was Paorenga Broncos, Ronnie had that, Te Aupori Repo, Nick looked after that, Ngāti Kauri Sharks, Kerry looked after that, Mura Whenua, Tare looked after that, Mavericks, Connor looked after that, and then you had the Marcos. See, one thing with the Marcos at the moment, they're playing in Whangarei, right? They got their kids that playing in Whangarei, but all their kids are still registered under the TRL.
Oh, awesome.
So they still play down.
That's what Timmy and all them out
That's
there.
Timo and Aroa and that.
Yeah.
Then you had Taimai, which was Jay, and then you had Otawa, which was Machitane, and Teiringa was Tahere Whānau, Valley Crushers, Peter Mark in there, Hikarangi Stags, Joe Rowe, Otangarei Knights, Daly, Portland Panthers, Raki Hardy, Hika and Horo was Shantae and Sean. Then you had the Tigers, Moerewa Tigers, and then we had the Tigers second team, which I looked after, and Taitokerau, Richie, yeah. And then we go over to the teams that are in there now, the Dragons, Wally, Kaitai, Tommy, Waipapa Carey, Aaron, West Coast, Tinny, Marlins, Raps, Woolies, the Tigers one, Kaikwe Leopards, Jay, Kaikwe Lions, Hernandez, and Taitokerau. And at that time, over the 9 years, we had a women's team, which was Repo and Moerewa Tigers that had a game there, you know. So that's all. And the other thing I've got to thank is all our sponsors, that were in there for the last 9 years. And the big one was, a major sponsor was Foundation North, Pub Charity, Awapori and Ngāti Kauri Trust, AFCO, Ngāti Hine Trust, Bay of Islands Bakeries, Ngāi Takotai, BDO, Te Etu Whānau, Smoke Free, Ant, Moko Foundation and Four Winds Foundation.
Awesome. Thank you.
Right, so I think we just need to concentrate on our own rohe and try and keep going from there. So that's, and the other thing was that in that time, people don't realise we had whāngarei teams come up. All right, we had the Knights come up, we had Hikarangi come up. So when they came up to play, I found them a ground, which was the Moerewa Rugby ground, and after match function was at the Moerewa pub. So they came up there for 2 years and I helped them out. And it's a hard job when you have to mark the fields and put all the post pads and the lines thing, and then clean the change rooms after, so make sure Moerewa Rugby doesn't get mad, clean all that and do that. So yeah, so that was all. And they don't realise was that when they did come up, we gave them $3,000 for gazebo and a koha of two, that's each team, Hikarangi and Otaika, and then a $2,000 travel bonus for them to help come up here. But at the time, you see what I mean? But at the time, and that happened to Moerewa too, we gave Moerewa, they came up to Moerewa and we gave them 5,000 koha, COVID one, and 3,000 for the gazebo and all that. And that's what we gave them. And then we gave all our teams in that time, I think they all got 8,000 each to help them through the COVID period and all that. That's what it was. So, you know, we spent a bit of money on them, but then at the end of the day, they jumped and all took off. They took off back to Whangarei. Even Moerewa took off back to Whangarei. See, what you got to realise about Moerewa, if we hadn't let them in the TRL, they would have gone into recess. But we let them all in.
Yeah.
And that's what they're forgetting, what we've done for them. We didn't have to let them in, but that's what's happened, you know. And that was through the COVID period and all that.
Me. I'm just pushing over just a little bit, just my neck's a little bit sore. I just want you, Dave, to look into my eyes. Right? Dave, you looking? You looking?
Oh, hang on. Question.
Look into my eyes and I'll look into yours, right? This is an important question too. So, what does the TRL's relationship look like with the likes of RLM, NZRL, and Māori Rugby League?
At the moment, RLN, we don't get on that well because everything they put to me, it's what they want to do, or not what we want to do. And that's the trouble with Robbie. He's just saying, no, we got to do this, we got to do that. So that's the hardest thing to try and get on with him. See, I see he's bringing Fisher Harris up here on Friday to Lindvard Park. Good on him. It's good for our kids, you know. But he told me once that he owns from the other side of this side of Bristow right to the Cape. I own that shooter zones. And I said, well, you're missing one place. You're jumping again. So that's it. But it makes it hard with RLM because they come in our area, they take everything and all that. And I'm asking myself, how come they're a zone when they've got no senior team? Now the women's are falling over, the 18s are falling over. How come they're a zone? Why don't they go back to the district? In the district, the boundary is in Torway, right out to Dargaville. That's as far as they can come. And then we look after the rest from there. And so that's what I'm looking at. New Zealand Rugby League, it's been good. We've got a lady in here called Leslie, Lisa, and she's really good helping us out with district stuff, sporty and everything, and just giving us a hint on what to do and not to do, and she's been really helpful there.
Awesome.
And also New Zealand Rugby League, they've been helping.
Cool.
And the Māoris, well, that fella rings me all the time, John Devich.
Me. Awesome.
I think the last question, we've come to our last question, or the last questions that we've written out for you. It's probably the most important one.
How long am I going to stay?
Oh, that too. That too. But TRL into its 10th season, through pandemic, as you mentioned, pandemic, we had that great final out of Pawading and Broadwood through the pandemic. We only had 100 there.
I can tell you, firing out of Broadwood, I went there one time and I said to my wife, you want some chicken and chips? We'll go to the Four Square. I go, yeah, I'll get you. Come on, we'll go there before the game. And the lady that runs the store there, she goes, you're the one making me money. I said, why? She goes, every time we have a home game here, I've got to get 2 pallets of Stein Lager. I said, oh, well, but that's the TRL. The little towns that are trying to boost everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's us trying to help everyone out. You know, like you go to Weimar, they turn up on horse and cart to come and watch you know, things like that that you get, you know. So you can ask the question, yeah.
Who wins the championship, the TRL 2025 10th year championship?
Ooh.
Decade team.
I don't know. I'm not really worried. I don't care because I know the final's up here in Kaitaia. Because last year was in Moeroa. This year it's up in Kaitaia. So whoever puts the bid in to do the grand final, they can have it up here.
Just been.
To be honest with you, I'm not too really worried. I'm not. You know, if it's good for league, it's good for league. That's all it is. If it's a big showcase for rugby league in the north, and that's all I care. I don't really care about anything else. As long as league goes right, we all enjoy it. That's us. That's the main thing. About that final in Paul-Ringa, eh? You know, I had the last vote. I had the last vote, and everybody on the committee says, we're going to Moeroa. We're going to Moeroa. And then when I had the vote, I said, no, we're going to Broadwood. It's not all about Moeroa League. It's about everybody in the area. And that's why we went to Broadwood. So just let people know about that.
Beautiful.
That
It was a beautiful.
my decision, and it was, we go there. That's what it was.
You still didn't answer the last question.
No, I'm not asking. I know what you fellas want. Moeroa. I might have my money on the Hawks. I'm not saying anything. Whoever's there in the last round, good. You know, prize money is 3,000 this year, 2,000 for second, 1,000 for third, and 500 for fourth. That's the prize money this year. So what we're making out of entry fee of everyone, we're giving it all back. And then plus they all got a box of stuff, first aid and strapping, they all got one of those each.
Yes, thank you.
So we
thank
did
you.
that for the clubs and all that. But you got to realise, over the years, whenever the clubs wanted a hand, we've given them money. We've given them a hand here, we've given them a hand there. Like the time we ran we only had 3 teams. And that's another thing we've got to look at. We had 3 teams, we had the Crushers, we had the Marcos, we had Kaikwe. We rang Robbie to ask if we could come and play in their comp. And he said no. 2023. Because Hikarangi fell out. And we said, oh, we'll ring him. So he said, no, we're all right. So that was, you know. So what goes around comes around. That's my thing. And then those 3 teams, they said, oh, we gave them $1,000 each to help them run through the season, petrol money and all that, whatever they can. And then their prize money was 3, 2 and 1. Prize money for just the 3 teams, so that'll help them out too.
And it kept the
TRL going,
TRL
because that's when it was going to stop. But with me behind them, trying to tell them, come on boys, we need 4 rounds. They did the 4 rounds. You know, and then the following year we had 6 teams and now we've got 9. And next year I think we're going to have 14.
Wow. Let's look at this weekend. Couple of big games out there in Ngāpuhi area. Over there in Simpson Park. Double header. Double header. Kaikohe versus Kaikohe.
Yeah.
Who
Leopards
wins?
versus Lions.
Who wins?
Oh, the Leopards gave us a run last weekend for our money, 40-something, 22.
Yeah.
But you got to realise with all these teams, they're playing, they're not fit now, but right through the season they're going to get fit, you know, and they're going to be hard to beat. I'm not saying anything else.
Hey.
No, I'm not saying anything. I've got to try I'm not saying anything. But we knew because the Leopards are waiting for their goalpost at Lindvard Park, so it still hasn't been up. So we offered it. We said, come on, come down. So they're both coming down here to play 1 o'clock game, Leopards against the Lions. And then the other good game we against Moiro and the Marcos. That'll be a good game. Marlins have got a young side, young kids. And see, we were struggling, the Tigers, we were struggling up until 2 weeks ago. Now we've got an influx of players, we might have to put a second team in.
Here we go.
Oh, here we go.
And now, but it's the same with you fellas, you're getting an influx of players too. People are coming to watch and they say, oh, I like this, let's go. And it's, you know, I feel sorry for rugby because when you look at it, that's my ambition of what Robbie wants. He wants to run it like Whangarei rugby, take all the teams down to Whangarei and be that. You know, and we just be reserve grade up here. And pick all the best players and run it like Whangarei rugby. But look at the Rugby League Northland now. Look at all the teams in the little valleys and all that, they're all gone. You know, all the diehards, they're gone.
3 in the north here.
Yeah.
Only 3 teams.
And only 3 down in the bay.
Oh.
You see, I see to the fellas down there. Otua, you might have to put Otua Rugby League on there. I'm feeling sorry for my neighbours.
Since you won't pick a winner down there, maybe you want to pick a winner in the Mawhenua. Local one. What about this big game? Orofana Dragons, West Coast Raiders, Battle of the West.
Orofana Dragons or West Coast Raiders?
I'll have to go with the old top team, mate. Orofana.
Ooh, here we go.
You know, I have to go with them. Being the grand final last year. You know, I don't know if West Coast Raiders are coming right to anything because I seen them at the last pre-season. They looked all right, you know, but I'll go for the Dragons, see. And who's the second one?
Oh, mate.
That's the main game.
The main game of the weekend.
Jerry just paid me $100 to say Taitokerau. I'm making a bit of money on this. I'm making a bit of money on this. I should come up here more often. No, I heard you are going well, the Hawks. No, good on you if you can bowl over Waipap, but Waipap's still got a bit of, you know, bit of oomph in Waipap. I'll go for Waipap.
Waipap? Did you say?
Yeah, I'll go for Waipap. I'll give you money back.
I don't know, just the end. Down in Moirewa areas. Anyone that we need to look out for young fellas coming up through Moerewa Tigers?
Yeah, we've got about
Any names?
Cody. We've got Cody there, the Pākehā fella. Scores about 5 tries. He's good. We've got Tawhiri. Yeah, he's good. And then we've got our, I think a good fella down here is our front row, Maniwiki. He's deadly money, you know. He's coming through really leaps and bounds and all that. And then the Islander fella, Talo. That's Peel's mate. Eric
Running from another mother. Yeah. Was he?
He's running really well. Yeah.
Good.
Awesome.
But, I love it actually. I just love it. And this year it's even better with all the new people coming in to help. You know, like this.
Yeah.
Look at this. We never had this for 10 years. And make it good. My first interview. You know, so this makes it good too.
Shout out to our producers.
Yeah,
They make it look
and
good.
everything that you post up on our page and all that, it's just changing the dynamics of the league. That telephone book was when I broke my arm, it was like that, it split in the middle, like that. So they put a plate in it, and then the doctor, that was when I was 20 years of age, and the doctor said, you won't play football again. So that's when I come up with the book, just to help my arm.
So you've been doing it for 40 years?
No, I enjoy what you fellas are doing, and like I said, we've got good people behind us, helping, everyone's keen to go forward and all that, and that makes my life easy, you know. I just sit there as a chairman and say, yep, that's right, let's go. You know, and we're moving along really good, the TRL. The backbone is really good, everyone helping. The ribs have come along, and you know, we had the backbone now the ribs are coming along forming of the TRL, and it makes it easy. So I'm going to go home and see my wife, and she said, did you answer all those questions? I wrote them down. I'll say to her, I went away from that. I must probably get a grounding when I get out. But she's still involved with me, like she'll do a letter for me, and she's still there in the background for me, and she just clips my ears and no, that's not right. You should be doing this. So she's still there in the background with me, helping me out. And I think if I didn't have her there, I just wouldn't have been, you know, where I am today.
Just touching on the refs. You've got a new style. We've got our refs coming up.
We've got a new style ref. We don't have to pay for referees this year. The referees have set up their own body down in Whangarei.
Awesome.
And constitution and everything like that. So they're paying the refs.
Awesome.
The refs are getting paid $230 a game. And $1.05 a kilometre to the games.
I should just be a ref.
Yeah. But everyone will hear it and say, I should be a ref, but you got to have a ticket, eh? You got to have a ticket. We can put you through all that. That's not a problem.
Cool.
We can put you through the course and all that. Yeah, so Whangarei District is helping the body of Northern Rugby, they're called Taitokerau Rugby League, it's called.
Yep.
So it's for everyone up the north.
Awesome.
So they help funding and they're getting sponsorship and all that for it to help them run. So that's what happens with the referees. So we still have our refs from Auckland. They're still there. They've been, because I look after the referees, so they've been there for years and I don't really want to let them go. Give them a break out of the city to come up here and ref the games, yeah. And then we've got our local refs and we try and use them as much as possible.
Awesome.
But that saves the clubs $80,
Yep.
you know.
Awesome, Dave. I think that's us, Dave.
That's us.
Awesome.
We have pies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much
for coming
for
here.
coming here.
Thank you so much.
Now I've got to drive home
Yeah.
Have a pie first.
and answer my phone calls.